Hello everybody. This is the end of February, and as you can see, I still have a few oranges left on my trees. However, most of the oranges have been harvested and taken care of, just like I did last year. And I'm not going to make another video like I did last year. However, I did promise some viewers that I would make a video of distilling the orange peels. So that is what I am going to do now. Once the water is filled up to the rack in the pot, I fill the pot completely with all of the lemon peels. The water's in. Water here starting to boil. As it heats up, the steam will go into here, cool down, condensate into this coil, and out again. So now all we have to do is wait. We're going to have to change out the cold water, which is why I've got these pipes, ready to go. But other than having to change the water every 15-20 minutes, then that's it. The whole system here does the rest. Now the interesting thing is that once this water heats up, which it will do very soon, once it heats up, the vapor stops condensing. So, it won't come out, it will not come out this tube so fast. But then once I refill this with cold water, all of a sudden everything that's inside there is just going to condense and I'll just get a nice flow. So it's not like I have to be standing here constantly watching it. No, I come back every 15-20 minutes and change the water. Okay, this has been boiling now for about 20 minutes. And this water is still cool. It's very cool to the touch still. So this takes a while. This definitely takes a while. All right, I came back after another 20 minutes had passed, and you can tell that there's movement inside the water, and there is the steam rising from the water. And if you look in here, just look in here for a minute. There's liquid in there. That is the orange water. And 20 minutes ago, there was no scent in this kitchen. Now it smells beautifully. I refilled the water. This is cold again. And down here, there was a nice gush of water coming out, a very solid drip when I did that. Sorry I couldn't film it. So now I get to wait another 20 minutes or so before I do the same thing again. I will have to say, 20 minutes ago, there was not a scent in this kitchen. Now there is this wonderful orange scent. It smells like oranges in here. All right, this time it only took about 10 minutes for it to steam. And if you look in there, you can see there's quite a bit of liquid in there. Quite a bit of liquid. I was able to catch the tail end. I emptied the water out. I'm going to be refilling the water now. Now I just keep coming back, checking the water every 15 minutes or so, and just gradually see that water increase in there. That delicious scented orange water. Oh, I love the scent of this water. So as you can see, the water's getting pretty high. Now, if we compare this quantity of water versus what we put in here, you're going to notice that, wait a second, it isn't nearly the same. This is less water. That is for certain. It's about, I don't know, I would say the amount of water in this pan is probably 2 of these. So there's a lot of water in this pot still. However, you don't want a situation where this starts to burn. Because if this starts to burn, it ruins the whole thing. So right now, there's the water. There's a lot of steam in this part of the pot. And sometimes it is worthwhile to not finish all the water, just to make sure you don't get that burn. But we're going to leave this on for a little bit longer. We're going to see how much we can get out of this. My house smells like orange blossoms right now. It smells like oranges because I am distilling the orange peels. And this is orange water. And you see that gray line? That is oil. Yep, my house smells pretty today. I have noticed the sound is different. Do you hear it? It's a different sound. Like, I hear that water is boiling, but I hear that there's something different happening up here. Okay, I am hearing an extremely rapid boil down here. And I can kind of estimate that I'm getting close to the bottom. I'm going to estimate that it's probably got that much more water in it. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. In the meantime, we're getting more water over here. Here we are, a couple hours later. I have turned off the burner because I noticed that there is a change in the way this sounds, and I don't want it to burn. So it's going to keep going. There's going to still be more steam rising, and this is the amount of water we got so far, which I don't think it's a bad amount. I mean, that's a pretty nice sized jar. And of course, there will still be more condensing here. And then when we take this off, when we disconnect this, when we let in the air, all of a sudden, you're just going to have all the steam come into here. Like all the leftover steam is just going to go phoo, because the pressure is released. And then we just, like, you know, do the dance and let it come through down into here. So we'll get just a little bit more. Now, I understand there may still be a lot more oil in here. There may still be water in there, but again, we do not want it to burn. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the oil floating on the top of this water. So that is very encouraging to me. I don't know if you can catch it in the camera though. This is how much orange water we got, and you see that thin layer of oil floating on the top. Now this water is cloudy because it is mixed with the oil. So I am going to put a lid on this and then let it sit for a little bit, and the oil will rise to the top. Here is what the orange peels look like once they've been thoroughly cooked. I'm going to give these back to the ground under the tree. They are soggy and soft and wilted. All right, here we go. I've emptied out the oranges. Now I can feel there is still water in here. There is quite a bit of water in there. You see how it's discolored? That's right. that's left over from the oranges and everything. All the steam went running down. And it seems like it's a lot of water left. And if I wanted to, I could have gone all the way down to the very bottom. Instead, I used about 3/4 of the water that was in here. I just didn't want to take the risk of it burning. But if you need to, you know, you can get as much water out of here as necessary. Right, I got some orange oil. It's not very much. It only comes to, in this this is a 5 milliliter bottle. Okay, so it didn't come out to very much. I only got about that much oil so far. It comes to about there. You can't really see it through the glass bottle, but it's only just a teeny tiny little amount. And we're going to get more out of these larger bottles. So I'm going to suggest we probably are going to have about 3 milliliters in the end, but we'll see. All right, here we are the next day. These are the 2 bottles. This particular bottle is the one that I used the separator with. I used this separator, okay? And this one I did not. As you can see, there's no real oil line here because I had already separated out the oil with the separator. Okay, now take a look. This is a little cloudy because I just moved it, but take a close look. Do you see there's a thin line of oil there? Do you see that? I'm gonna shake this and you're gonna see the whole thing's gonna go cloudy. Do you see that? The whole thing's gonna go cloudy. That is orange oil. Do you see all that oil there separating? So I can get a little bit more oil out of that. All right, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Hold on, let me see there. You see that? See the oil in there? That is around it's between 2 and 2.5 milliliters of oil I got from the large pot of peels. And what do I do with the orange water? Well, it makes a lovely spray. I put it in these spray bottles and I put labels on them so that people can see what they are. And I hand these out as gifts to friends or use them myself to freshen up the scent in the room or in the car. It's just a very, very pleasant scent. I also hand these out to little girls to use as perfume. It's really cute. They like it. And this is what I do with the orange hydrosol. I just want to make it clear, those were a lot of oranges. They were about 2.5 trees full of orange peels. Anytime I used oranges, I saved the peels. Anytime my children used the oranges, they saved the peels. And anytime my close friends used the oranges, they saved the peels. And if I didn't see them for a while, they would just put them in the freezer, and then I would get them back when I saw them. So we just saved a lot of the peels. And you saw how little oil I got out of it, but I did get quite a bit of the orange water. And also, since I got everything back, it's lovely compost. I just threw all the peels and everything. Once I was finished with them, I just threw them out. I gave them back to the trees. It makes a lovely compost. So anyway, yes, it takes some time saving the peels if you don't have a lot of peels at once, but it's definitely worth it for the product. Until next time.